Some jobs give you a paycheck, others give you a purpose, but the rarest ones, they bring you a reward no one sees coming. Claire Matthews gripped the eviction notice in her hands, her stomach twisting. 30 days. That was all she had left before she and her little brother were homeless. 2 weeks ago, she was a full-time nurse. Helping people, saving lives, it was all she had ever wanted to do. But then the hospital cut staff, and suddenly, her entire world collapsed. Now, with barely any savings left, she had no idea how she was going to survive. The next day, Claire was walking home from a failed job interview when she saw a commotion in the street. A man, mid-40s, well-dressed, was collapsed on the sidewalk, struggling to breathe. People stood around, frozen, not knowing what to do. Claire didn't hesitate. She rushed forward, dropping to her knees. "Sir, can you hear me?" His skin was clammy, his pulse erratic. Claire's medical training kicked in immediately. "Someone call an ambulance," she yelled, tilting his head back to open his airway. A bystander fumbled with their phone, but Claire knew the ambulance wouldn't get here fast enough. The man's pulse was fading. Without thinking, she started CPR. Minutes felt like hours. Claire kept pressing down on his chest, refusing to let him slip away. "Come on," she muttered, sweat forming on her brow. "Stay with me." Then a cough. The man's eyes flickered open, his breathing ragged but steady. Claire let out a shaky breath. "You're okay," she whispered. "You're going to be okay." The ambulance finally arrived, and as the paramedics took over, one of them turned to Claire. "You just saved his life." Claire sat back on the sidewalk, exhausted. She had no idea that 24 hours later, her life was about to change forever. The next morning, Claire was startled awake by the sound of car engines rumbling outside. She threw on a sweater and rushed to the window. Her breath caught. 4 luxury cars were parked in front of her tiny apartment, and standing next to them, the man she had saved. Claire's heart pounded as she opened the door. The man smiled warmly. "Miss Matthews, we need to talk." Claire blinked. "What's going on?" The man chuckled. "Yesterday you saved my life, and now I'm here to change yours." She stared at him confused until he handed her an envelope. Claire hesitated before opening it, and when she saw what was inside, her legs nearly gave out. Because sitting inside that envelope was the key to a brand new life. Claire's hands shook as she pulled the contents from the envelope. Her breath hitched. Inside was a check. Not for a few hundred, not for a few thousand, for $500,000. Her vision blurred as she stared at the number, her mind unable to process it. "I don't understand," she whispered. The man, the same one she had saved just a day ago, smiled. "My name is James Thornton. I own several medical facilities across the state, and if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be standing here today." Claire shook her head, still overwhelmed. "I was just doing what any nurse would do." James's expression turned serious. "No, you did what no one else did. When everyone else stood there, you stepped in. You saved my life without hesitation." He gestured to the check. "That's not a gift. It's a thank you." Claire swallowed hard. "This is too much. I can't accept this." James chuckled. "Then you're going to have a real problem with my next offer." Claire frowned. "Next offer?" James reached into his pocket and pulled out a second envelope. She hesitated before opening it, and when she saw what was inside, her entire body froze. It was a job contract? James grinned. "I want you to run one of my top-tier medical clinics. Full salary, full benefits. You deserve to be somewhere that recognizes your value." Claire's throat tightened. You're serious?" James nodded. "I don't waste time, Miss Matthews." She clutched the contract, her entire life flashing before her. Just yesterday, she had been jobless, struggling to survive. Now, she had a career, financial security, and a future. Claire blinked back tears. "I don't know what to say." James smiled. "Say yes." Claire exhaled shakily. Then, she signed the contract. The moment the pen left the paper, James handed her a second set of keys. Claire frowned. "What's this?" James smirked. "Your company car." He gestured to one of the luxury vehicles parked outside. "Might as well start your new life in style." Claire let out a choked laugh, shaking her head in disbelief. Yesterday, she had lost everything. Today, she had more than she ever dreamed of. And all because, in a moment of crisis, she had chosen to do what was right. Sometimes the universe takes everything away just to give you something even greater. Claire sat in the driver's seat of her brand new luxury car, her hands gripping the wheel as reality slowly sank in. Just 24 hours ago, she had been staring at an eviction notice. Now, she had a new job, financial security, and a future she never imagined. James Thornton, the man she had saved, stood beside the car with a knowing smile. "Feels good, doesn't it?" Claire let out a breathless laugh. "It doesn't even feel real." James chuckled. "It's real, all right, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning for you." Claire looked over at him, curious. "Why are you doing all this for me?" James's smile softened. "Because I know what it's like to struggle, to feel like no one sees your worth." His eyes darkened for a moment. "Someone once gave me a chance when I needed it most. Now, I get to do the same." Claire swallowed hard. "And all of this just because I saved your life?" James shook his head. "No, Claire, because you didn't hesitate. You didn't know who I was. You didn't know what I had, and you still stepped in." He met her gaze. "That's the kind of person I want running my clinic." Claire's chest tightened. For the first time in her life, someone truly saw her. Not just as a nurse, not just as a struggling woman trying to survive, but as someone who mattered. She smiled, gripping the keys tighter. "Well then, I guess I better not disappoint." James grinned. "I know you won't." As Claire drove away, the city lights reflecting off her new car, she felt something she hadn't in a long time. Hope. Because sometimes life takes everything from you, only to replace it with something even greater. And for Claire, her new life was just beginning. The biggest rewards don't come from chasing success. They come when you least expect them, when you choose to do what's right, no matter the cost. The next morning, Claire walked into her new clinic, a modern, beautifully designed medical center with her name already on the office door. Claire Matthews, head nurse. Her throat tightened as she traced her fingers over the gold lettering. Just days ago, she had been jobless, hopeless, one step away from losing everything. Now, she was running a facility designed to help people, exactly what she had always dreamed of. As she walked through the clinic, her new staff greeted her with warm smiles. Nurses, doctors, and administrators, all looking to her for leadership. It was overwhelming, but in the best way. She took a deep breath, stepping into her office. And sitting on her desk was a small, sealed envelope. Frowning, she picked it up and opened it. Inside was a handwritten note from James. "Claire, I know this wasn't what you planned for your life, but sometimes the best things happen when we least expect them. I have no doubt you'll change lives here. You already changed mine. Welcome to your future." "James." Claire smiled. She carefully folded the note, tucking it into her desk drawer. Then she straightened her shoulders, exhaled, and walked out into the clinic, ready to step into the life she had never seen coming. Because sometimes losing everything is just the beginning of something even greater. The right path isn't always the one we plan. Sometimes it finds us when we least expect it and leads us exactly where we're meant to be.